words, and I'd like you to change the words from kind of what their base form. Start adding ER and EST. Okay? So let's try that now.
Now it's your turn. Let's see if you can do this. Take the worksheet, if you have it, and change the words the way the teacher has described. Take the adjective and make it a word that's comparative, describes two things. Then make it a superlative so that it describes three things or more than three things. So for example, if you had the word soft, a comparative would be softer. The superlative would be softest. So if you have that worksheet, take a moment now and complete it. Please stop the video and do the activity. All right, now that you've completed the worksheet, let's take a moment and check to see if your answers are correct. I will put the adjective, the describing word, on the screen, and then I will give the comparative and then the superlative form. The comparative for comparing two things, the superlative for comparing three things or more. I will wait a moment to see if you can give the correct answer. So I will give the adjective first. I will wait a moment. You give the comparative. Then I will give the correct answer. Then I will wait a moment. You give the superlative. And then I will give you the correct answer. All right? Let's try that now. Are you ready? Let's begin. Dirty. Dirtier. Dertiest. Clean. Cleaner. Cleanest. Smooth. Smoother. Smoothest. Rough. Rougher. Roughest. Beautiful. More beautiful. Most beautiful. Shiny. Shinier. Shiniest. Light. Lighter. Lietest. Heavy. Heavier. Heaviest. Short. Shorter. Shortest. Expensive. More expensive. Most expensive. Hard. Harder. Hardest. Soft. Softer. Softest. Modern. More modern. Most modern. Nervous. More nervous. Most nervous. There. How did you do? How many did you get correct? If you got more than 3 of those answers wrong, you should go back and do that exercise again.
What I'd like you to do now then is come up to the table again and take a look, and I think you have to do objects to see which is more expensive or which is most expensive. So this time we're working with 3 syllables. So if you can come up to the front, you can compare the objects again. Feel free to look around and take a look. Okay? Come on up.
You see the activity that the children are doing around the table. They have a worksheet. and they are looking at the things on the table to say which one is the biggest, the smallest, the hardest, the shiniest, and so on. I'd like you to do that now. In your classroom where you are, take a bunch of things, take many objects, and put them on a table. Then I would like you to gather around the table as a group of students, and if you have a copy of that worksheet, you can do that. If you don't have it, you can still look at the objects on the table and say which one is the biggest, which one is the smallest, which one is the softest, which one is the hardest, and so on. Use all these describing words in their superlative form. All right? Are you ready? Let's begin. Please stop the video and do the activity.
Okay, one thing I forgot to mention, we have expensive, more expensive, most expensive. So we have $1 sign. Now we have more expensive and most expensive. Okay? Now we have other words. So if this is expensive, more expensive, most expensive, you can also have expensive, less expensive, least expensive. So now we have, okay, so we have most beautiful, more beautiful, beautiful, less beautiful, least beautiful. So we have a range from the most to the least. Okay. What I'm going to do now is call one person forward, and if I say bigger, you have to take two objects, right? If I say biggest, how many objects do you think you have to take? Second. Not second. If I say bigger, you take two. If I say biggest, how many should you take? One. Three. So if I say small or smaller, you have to find two small objects. If I say smallest, how many do you take? 3. Good. If I say more expensive, how many objects should you take?
Second, 2.
2. If I say most expensive,
3.
how many should you take? 3. Okay, I think you're understanding this, so I'll get Sarah to come up first. You don't need your clipboard, you don't need a pencil, just come on up. So I'm going to call a word, and we'll see how he does. Okay, here we go. Smaller. Okay. Smaller. How many objects? 2. How many do you have? 1. Okay. Which is smaller?
The penny is smaller.
The penny is smaller. Okay, great. Put those down. I'll ask you another one. Biggest. 2. Good. 3. Good. Which is the biggest?
Towel.
The towel. Okay, great. You can have a seat, and we'll call somebody else up. We'll see who's paying attention. Maybe we'll get... Pardon? Okay. We'll get... oh, come on. I will get it. 2. Come on up. Okay. More expensive. More expensive. That's okay. Anything with a price tag will work. Okay. So you want to show to the class? Okay. How much is the shoe? $5. And how much is the tide? $6.25. So which is more expensive? The tide. Right. Well, the birdhouse is Okay, let's add this one. So we have 3 objects. How much is the birdhouse?
$75.
$75. Wow, expensive birdhouse. Which is the most expensive?
The birdhouse.
Which is the most expensive?
Birdhouse.
The birdhouse. Which is the least expensive?
Tie.
Are you sure?
Shoe and shoes.
Yes, because the shoe is 5 and the tide is $6.25. Okay, you can put those down. That's great. Let's get one of the girls to come up to the front. Let's get Sablu. Come on up. Okay, let's see. All right, I'll ask you more comfortable. More comfortable. Okay, do you want to hold up the objects? Okay, we've got the towel. Good. And what else? Comfortable. More comfortable. Anything. Doesn't matter, really. How many objects? Okay, sure. Which is more comfortable? The water bottle is more comfortable? Okay, sure. That works. Let me ask you another one. Smallest. Smallest. Okay, we have one thing. Smallest, how many do we need? We need 3. 3 things. So what else is small on this table? Okay, that's 2. We need 1 more. 1 more. What else is small? I think this is kind of small. Okay. Which is the smallest?
Penny.
The penny. Good. Okay. You can put those down. That's great. Okay. I think we're understanding. So if I have three items, let's do this. What do I say? What should I use if I'm talking about big? What word should I use? Okay, the pants are biggest. Good. How about now? The shoe is bigger. Why bigger? How many objects? 2. 2 bigger. 3 biggest. Now if I went by price, okay, 2 objects, 35 cents and $5. What should I say? What should I use? 2 objects. Expensive. Let's try using expensive. For 2 objects, more expensive. And with 3, which is the most expensive? Okay? All right. I think we'll end it there. And next time we will go back to a store and talk about things at a store. Okay? So I'll see you next time.
Well, let's wrap up. What did we learn today? Well, we learned how to take that one describing word and make it describe 3 things or more, not just 2 things. When it describes 2 things, we call it a comparative. When it describes 3 things or more, we call it a superlative. And we form these a little bit different. With a comparative, you add ER and then you use the word than. This is cheaper than something else. With a superlative, we add EST instead of ER, and we don't use the word than. We would say this is the cheapest. And we also learned that the same rule applies for how many syllables a describing word has. If it has 1 syllable, we would say the cheapest, the softest. If it has 3 syllables or more, we always say the most expensive, the most beautiful. If it has 2 syllables, and ends in an E sound, then we would add the EST. Otherwise, a two-syllable word would take the most, the same as it would always say more in the comparative. I hope you're understanding this. This has been a good lesson today. I hope you've enjoyed it. This is English Without Limits. I'm Doug Sadler. Have a good day.